Okay. This will be my most dark video ever. And it's the truth. Um, I just hate almost everybody at this point on some level. It's not that I hate everybody all the time. Sometimes I like some people. But I guess I'm just sort of, truthfully, I'm tired of feeling like, I guess for people especially for people who, I can't really hate people who have it worse than me. I don't hate those people unless they're stupid and harming the environment. But which we all are. I mean, just by existing, we're really harming the environment. Even those of us who try to care, like me, I'm harming the environment just like everybody else. We use resources up. We live a modern lifestyle. We throw away plastic all the time. We burn gasoline, whether we drive a fuel efficient car or not. We're still burning gasoline. At least those of us in the first world countries. But I guess I'm just sick of most people at this point. There's really only one person I love and respect wholeheartedly, and that's my father. And that's because my father understands me like nobody else does. He's okay with me being whatever I am. He has a very zen outlook on life. He doesn't expect me to be anything. He doesn't expect me to do anything. And, a lot of people would say that I'm leeching off of him, I guess. But, he loves me enough that he doesn't care. And that's unconditional love, my father's the only one who's really giving me unconditional love. I get love from other people in the family. I guess you could call it unconditional. But everyone else in the family judges me. And not just everyone else in the family, but everyone else in the world, really. I think that my father is the only one who hasn't passed any judgment. Everyone else has an idea of what I'm like, or, they sort of look down on me, I think. And, with good reason. In the modern society, I'm a figure that is widely considered a loserish figure, not someone who is particularly successful. But I appreciate the fact that my father doesn't let that affect his opinion of me. He sees me as, a person with value regardless of what I do or what I think. And just because he enjoys spending time with me and we can have good conversations and, I'm generally not a dick. I try not to be mean to people. I don't do anything that's really reprehensible, particularly. I'm not the greatest person in the world. I'm pretty selfish in a lot of ways. And most importantly, and this is sort of what I'm getting to, I'm just tired of being a loser. Not really a loser. It's not even so much tired of being a loser. I'm tired of everyone I know besides my father seeing me as somebody who has failed. In life, the only thing that's really a benchmark is pretty much, as I've said before, the whole point of life is to perpetuate more life. So really, the only benchmark that's really put in front of us scientifically is to, or by biological principles, is to have more kids. But even that, doesn't really have to be fulfilled. You don't have to have kids to be successful in life. There's no requirement for you to be a parent. And in the current age, I feel like, for me personally, having kids is, just sort of, at this point especially, at some point in the future generations are going to be killed off, I think, by our own actions. That's my belief. I could be wrong. Maybe people will figure it out. Maybe, alternative energy technology will spread and things will get better. And in that case, my defining principles and points of opinion will have been proved wrong. As it stands now, I see, climate change, and I see our lack of preparedness for a world without fossil fuels. And because 95% of all the energy in the world is derived from fossil fuels, you might hear, we've got the alternative energy coming along, but 5% of the world's energy is currently derived from alternative energy. Now, that's not to say that it can't be ramped up quickly, but with Donald Trump in office and power or at least the people who are sort of holding up his puppet strings, the people in power holding power and not caring too much about creating a massive international effort to get us to more like 70% alternative energy, really cutting into that fossil fuel total. But without that, I don't think we're gonna make it that much longer, as I've said in many of the recent videos. And so for that reason, I feel like we're kind of like we're nearing the edge here. Donald Trump is certainly one sign of that, but I think it's been coming, and it could be 20 years, it could be 50 years, it could even be 100 years, but I'd be surprised if after, most of the scientific reports I'm reading are saying that at least by 100 years there'll be sort of catastrophic climate change going on. And maybe I won't live to see it, but my niece might, or her children might. And it just kind of depresses me to know that I'm part of the problem. I'm part of the people in the world who are leading us down that path. And people look down on me. People in the world see me as lesser than because I haven't helped to contribute to the problem more. I haven't created more profit. Some people would say, oh well, you could do environmentally friendly things instead. I could have worked my ass off to become an environmental lawyer or something like that. But let's say I did work my ass off to become an environmental lawyer. What are the chances I would win consistently against lawyers that are being supported by the big money? What are the chances that you can win through law enough decisions to turn the tide? In the end, I think the power will always rest with whoever has the most money, and whoever has the most money is not environmental lawyers, it's large corporations. And so to me, it's like, yeah, all right, I have to admit I didn't try as hard as I could have to be a better person, but as far as I can tell, it's not worth the effort. It's not worth the effort because I'll lose. I'll try my hardest and I'll lose, and if I can't know that I'm going to win, I'm not going to put in the effort. And that's sort of been my life story. If there's no guarantee of success, then I don't want to put in the effort. I want a guarantee. And maybe that's why I'm mediocre. I think, it's a combination of that and the fact that I wasn't given particularly a lot of talent in any area. I'm not stupid, but I'm not a genius, I'm a decent piano player, but not enough to make a living at it. I'm a decent songwriter in my own mind, but not enough people like my music for me to make a living doing it. I don't feel like I bring any unique attributes that I could develop to a point where I could make a serious impact on the world. It would be a small impact, I could make my little piece. I could put my drop in the bucket, so to say. And I don't want to just put my drop in the bucket. And this is where it comes around to the main point of this video. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be insignificant. I don't want to be, like most people. I don't want to be a barely a whisper in the annals of history. I want my life to mean something, and not just mean something little. I want it to mean something big. I want to say that I was part of something, either part of a huge movement, or that what I did was something that I had to do myself that changed things dramatically that only I could have done. That's the real key part of this whole thing. Only I, with unique abilities that I brought, that I helped to change things. But anything that I bring is so insignificant in the grand scheme of things that it just feels not worth doing. And they have these quotes, that say, "Oh, well, what one person can do is very small, but it's very important that you do it." Well, tell me why. Why is it very important that you do it? If there were enough people like me trying their hardest, it might make a slightly larger drop in the bucket. But the overall trend is towards people being selfish, towards people, wanting better looking to be, having procreating with a woman who has better genes than every other guy, or it leans towards every girl wanting to procreate with a guy who has better genes than every other guy. It just ends up being our driving, motivating force, which is to procreate, is a selfish force. It just comes down to trying to find the best for ourselves and trying to provide the most for our children. And it really just ends up being a very selfish pursuit. Everything's a competition. And I guess I'm just pissed off at everybody, really, because I'm losing the competition. I'm not successful in that I can't attract beautiful women. Or I once did, actually, but, because of my genetic deficiencies growing up, I have psychological issues that prevent me from realizing whatever potential I might have had. And, some people would say, well, you get over that and you move past it, but, it's kind of too late for me. I'm almost 40 now, a couple years from 40, and I can't get over the past, and what future I do have is not exciting to me. It's a future of insignificance. My effect on the world will be minimal. This video is not going to be watched by millions. It might be watched by 100 people. I think most of my videos tally about 100 views or something like that. And that's not good enough for me. I would, if it wasn't for the love of my parents and the fact that I am so afraid of non-existence. It's hard. This is in my mind. I don't know if there's a God or if there's an afterlife or any of that kind of thing. But in my mind, I find it hard to believe, and this is probably all we get, this life. And to think about, I still have experiences where, I enjoy myself. I went to a baseball game over the weekend. Went walking in a park, had some drinks at the bar, and it was all pretty pleasant. I guess I hang on for these little moments. This goes back to another video where I said, the big things in life matter more than the little things. Well, all I have right now are the little things. The big things are gone for me. I'll never have the big things in life. The big things pass me by. I'm not satisfied with what I can achieve career-wise or relationship-wise or impact-wise on as far as a positive impact is concerned. I'm not going to be satisfied with whatever I can do at age 38. If I had another chance, or if I hadn't had my genetic deficiencies, or if I'd had different mentorship or different scenario, different education growing up, maybe grew up in a different country, then maybe I would have had a chance to make a larger impact. It still probably would have been huge, but what I do have the chance to do is, from this point forward, is not enough to satisfy me. It's just going to be a disappointment. And it doesn't look as if I have, at this point, an opportunity to really take advantage of any unique talent I may have had, because I don't want to be a special. I don't even want to be a special 50-year-old or 55-year-old or 60-year-old. That to me is boring. It's just not. It doesn't carry the prestige that I want in life. So I'm gonna live a life of obscurity. I'm gonna live a life of, you know, resource. In the end, my life will be a net drain on the environment. I'm helping to lead us towards the disaster that we're marching towards. And I guess it's just, because of that, I resent people around me who are doing better than me at this point. I resent some of my family. I don't really want to name names, but I resent them because I look worse by comparison, and also because life is a competition, and no one likes to lose, and I'm losing the competition. And people always say, "Oh, don't focus on other people, focus on yourself." Well, if you had good things to focus on for yourself, then maybe that would be easier to do. But when all you have to focus on is sort of a dead, empty nothingness that stretches out before you, where the impact, the significance of your life, seems to be diminishing on a day-by-day basis, and you can't hope to achieve the things you once dreamed of achieving, and you're sort of limited by time as to what you can do, or what you can do to make yourself proud or make your family proud. You just start to not care anymore, and I just don't care. I'm tired of losing the game. I'm tired of hearing about, I'm tired of pretending that I'm happy for friends and family. I'm not happy for anyone else. I'm just, frustrated and angry that I can't have the same success that other people are having. And I don't want to work for it either. It's come to the point where, it's come to the point where it's kind of, I wonder, what's even worth working towards at this point. Most of the things that, all the things that I believe in are things that you don't get societal accolades for. All the wrong kinds of people, you're really praised in the society for making money. Earning power is sort of how everyone, gauges you in this world. And, they may not, they on some level, they, gauge you based on your personality, sense of humor, friendship, loyalty, all those sorts of things. But deep down, people make a judgment call about you. And that judgment call usually has to do with, this person isn't very impressive because he's not making money, And they sort of put you in a category in their mind as someone who's sort of not a force to be reckoned with, No, someone whose opinion doesn't have to be taken seriously. And even someone who they don't want to spend time with because they feel like, their worldview is going to, someone like me, that my worldview is going to bring them down. Even the family that I loved, that I thought I really loved, that I've known for a long time, very few of them, go out of their way to spend a lot of time with me. I'm the one making the effort to go see them most of the time. And, this just brings me, my cousin's coming down this weekend. And he's going to spend a day, an evening and a day with me. But the real reason he's coming down is to see his friends, because he's going to go have a good time with them. And it's not to say that I don't still love him. He's a nice guy, and his family. He's actually, going to be earning more money than I've ever seen in my life, installing solar panels, which is pretty cool for him. But it's like he's not coming down to see me. And, I don't have aunts and uncles coming to visit me. When I go to the East Coast to visit people, my family on the East Coast, they don't come specifically to see me. I had a cousin who lived out here with his girlfriend. And, they moved to the East Coast because obviously I'm not a huge priority in their lives. Um, and basically, no one is going out of their way to make time for me. The time that they are making for me is minimal and not important. And I guess I'm coming to the realization that there's only one person who really loves me and wants to spend as much time with me as possible. And, you know, is willing to. I mean, it's hard for me because I'm alone. I'm going to be increasingly alone as I get older. And only my father wants to see me all the time. And everyone else is just sort of, they want to see me here and there. They want to see me once every few months. That's enough for them. Once a year, But that's not enough for me, I don't have a family of my own, so I want to see the people I know and love, regularly. But they're more concerned with their own lives and their own family. And I guess that makes sense. That's what most people do. But, I'd rather live in a tribal environment where I could see my family regularly, where I could see my friends regularly. But everyone chooses their career over their loved ones in the modern world. It's always more important that they have their immediate family and their kids and their job and their group of friends. That's what takes precedence. And usually when there's visiting being done, I'm the one who has to go see them. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of being a low priority in the world for most people. And, I guess that's just, it's to be expected for someone like me who, I don't have I try to visit people a lot. I really do. I put a lot into it. But I'm just, on some level, I'm really tired of feeling like I love everyone else more than they love me in my family, except for my father. And, I guess I'm just not feeling very valued in the world particularly, and I think of myself, people write to me and they send me these messages that are really more patronizing than they are encouraging. Oh, we love you, we care about you and we think you're great and this and that, but they don't really think I'm great because actions speak louder than words, and they don't treat me in a way that gives me a feeling of respect. They treat me in a way that gives me a feeling of pity, and nobody wants to be pitied in life. And I guess I would, I would kill myself if I didn't feel so, if I didn't feel like it was so unfair to my parents to do that. And it's really, my dad mostly, my mom too. I mean, I love my mother, but she's very critical at this point. She wants me to be more than I am, and that disappoints me, I don't feel like I should have to be anything in a world gone crazy. I don't feel like I should have to contribute anything because I feel like it's almost better in the modern world to just sit around and do nothing than it is to contribute to the disaster. Maybe that's just my laziness talking. But, most of the things you can do this day and age are not things that something I can believe in, something that further my beliefs or further my principles. Most of the things you can do are just, most of the things people want me to do are just creating wealth, creating profit, creating money. And I don't want to do those things at all. I don't want to create any profit. I don't want to create any wealth for me or for anyone else, So really all I care about is my father and also, the poor innocent animals in nature that are suffering at the hands of all this profit creation, all this resource depletion. Those are the things that really, tug at my heartstrings, makes me feel real sad, to think of all the animals that are going to suffer. I don't really mind about human suffering because we'll have brought it upon ourselves, but these animals, these even plants, trees, everything that's going to suffer based on our actions is just so depressing. And I even know my mother, loves nature. She loves animals, but her desires for me to make profit and to deplete resources. That would make her happy, and so it's this disconnect and people are just so brainwashed into thinking that you have to contribute to capitalism, that's the ultimate goal. And it's really more about taking care of yourself, but people shouldn't even care about that. Taking care of yourself just means depleting resources, really. I said in a recent post we'd be better off if about 6 billion of the 7 billion people on this planet just decided to commit mass suicide together. And then nature and the last billion people might have a shot to see a world return to, a more normal state. But of course, I'm not going to convince 6 billion other people to commit suicide with me, or 5,999,999,999 people. That's what I'd have to do. And that would feel like a great sacrifice. That would feel like I was really doing something that was, I would feel like I was a heroic figure if I, along with 5,999,999, you know what I mean. If me, along with, roughly 6 billion other people decided to kill themselves, it would be a great thing for the world and for future generations, because we'd finally stop destroying things and be moving in a positive direction, because we wouldn't be depleting the Earth's resources anymore. There'd be plenty to go around for a billion people. And of course those billion people would have to decide to live in a way that wasn't so destructive, so that it wouldn't get out of hand as it has this time. But I'm not going to get people to do that, and so if I killed myself, it would be kind of a meaningless gesture, have no significance as usual. So I'm going to stay around, partly out of fear, partly because it's sort of it would be a major disappointment to people if I killed myself, and I wouldn't do it anyway because I'm deathly afraid of death, But it's just sad. It's sad living this life where no one respects you, where people make judgments about you because you don't earn a lot of money, or because you don't have beautiful women in your life, or even any woman in your life, and because you don't have kids. I'm tired of being judged by people, and I think people should just fucking mind their own business, and stop. Another thing is, I really would wish people would stop telling other people how to live. All these commercials, all these, these public messages, celebrity messages, in media. It's just rife with this unwanted advice from people who think that they know what life is about. And I'm tired of the successful people, telling us all what they think is success. I don't really give a fuck what anyone else thinks is success. I know what I think is success, and I'm just so tired of hearing it. I'm tired of people I know telling me what they think is success, and I'm tired of seeing people achieve the materialistic version of success, the capitalistic version of success, and shoving it down my throat. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear, what kind of raise you got, or what kind of new job you're doing. I mean, except for my cousin, I do like the fact that he's installing solar panels. That's pretty cool, but yeah, it's kind of a side note. So yeah, I'm just starting to hate everybody except for my father, who never lorded his profession over anyone. He just did what he felt like he had to do, and that's what I think we all really need to do in life. We should accept that everyone just needs to do what they feel like they have to do, and anything more or less is up to the individual and shouldn't be expected and shouldn't be criticized. That's it.